50 Cent is not interested in another G Unit album or tour. He says he's done carrying them. What up, words? Your boy Challz Brown back again for another Talking Facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. CLBMG all day, every day. All right, man, I'm going to read this article and we're going to talk about it. During 50 Cent's recent Breakfast Club appearance, the Queen native made headlines with more than a few comments. While his recounting of Beyonce approaching him over his beef with Jay-Z has captured most of the headlines, his remarks about not being interested in a G-Unit reunion album were no less interesting. Quote, I probably won't do a project with them. I'm done with carrying them around. My back hurts. When Charlamagne brought up seeing Yayo on tour with 50, he responded, Yayo is a different animal. If he does something wrong, I don't care what the magnitude is, he'll go, my bad. And he'll go, all right, and we'll just keep going to the next time he does something wrong. That's a relationship. That's our relationship. Now, when you look at Banks, all those other guys, they came in by way of him, and they have a different temperament. And it's not like it's the same relationship, he concluded. So I don't necessarily go back to carrying them. So let's talk about who is G-Unit. G-Unit is supposed to be 50 Cent, Tony Yayo, Lloyd Banks, Young Buck, and to some degree the Game. Now let's think about how splintered that is, right? What would a G-Unit record even make? It doesn't even make any sense, in my opinion. Who's rapping on this? So let's say you take out Buck, which obviously there's zero chance of Buck being in that. Still owes 50 money. These twos go at each other every day. You wouldn't be able to take them serious on a record together. You couldn't take them serious. They've been beefing for 10 years. You could not, them being on a record together, you couldn't even make heads or tails of it. He done called this man everything out his name. So there's no way Buck would make sense on a record with 50 in any kind of respectful way. It wouldn't even, they would have to diss each other on that record for it to be any kind of realism to it. So you don't got Young Buck. That's the Southern aspect. You don't got Game because he's in the middle of a beef with Eminem, which means he's in the middle of a beef with 50. So you can't put Game and 50 on the same record. You can't put Game, Buck, and 50 on the same record. So that's right there. You already took two of the members out of the G-Unit. So now you're left with Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo, right? And 50. So Lloyd and 50 have had little words exchanged. I believe Banks even addressed 50 on his last album, right? And I believe Banks was saying some stuff to the effect that you don't try to build me up, something to that effect. I don't remember exactly what he said about 50, but I know it wasn't good. It was like something where you tell a big brother, you ain't being a big brother, right? So until they hash that out, that ain't going to work. And I don't think 50 thinks Lloyd Banks' work ethic is worth getting back in business with. I think he feels like even their G-Unit days, their work ethic was horrible. He said something to the effect that they would have deals for the G-Unit sneakers and they would come to the meetings and they have on Louis V shoes and all this other stuff. They would never wear the sneakers. So that right there is telling him, y'all don't care about what I got going on. I'm making deals for you and you're not living up to your part of the bargain. And I understand if you're trying to brand yourself, I get it. People don't wear the same sneakers every day, but he's like, they're not wearing them even to the meetings to pretend they wearing them. Like, you know what I'm saying? At least put the shoes on when you come here. You gonna come here with no shoes on? You supposed to wear the jerseys, the hat, all this. Like, branding is very important. I always tell the story when I brought Memphis Bleek. I did a show with Memphis Bleek. He had, before he got out the car, he said, I need these 2 bottles of Douce visible. I can't enter your venue without these 2 bottles. He handed me 2 full unopened bottles of Douce. He said, one's for the bar and one's for when I go up on stage. It needs to be visible. He said, Jay will kill me if these Douce bottles aren't visible. He said that. And that was the first night I had Douce. Because the one at the bar, shout out to Simon, he cracked it open, gave us all some. We all think this is good. Smooth flavor. So branding is very, very important. When you pay somebody to brand, they need to really be branding. They need to really be wearing what they're supposed to be wearing. And apparently G-Unit didn't do that. So he said he had to carry them, but he knew that from the beginning he was going to carry them. And I believe that they did, they made noise. Yayo made noise. Yayo ain't that great of a rapper though. So it was only but so much Yayo was going to do, right? So you have Banks, who's a hell of a rapper, but Banks is still out in the trenches, so he got real life stuff to deal with, and it's going to weigh on him sometime. Sometimes he's going to have to step away from the game because he can't just pretend this stuff isn't going on. So it's going to weigh on him. Family issues, people, illnesses, and things like that. Just not having your mind right is very crucial. And even if your mind is 100% right, you still got mental health issues that you're going to have to deal with. So who does that leave? 50 and Yayo. They already doing everything together, but he don't rap with them no more. So at the end of the day, I believe even if he wanted to do it, their relationships are so splintered, it wouldn't even sound good. It's going to be 50 and Yayo holding most of it down. You're going to have Banks coming in on some, I'm getting paid to do this. I'm getting paid, so I'll do the verses. There's no connection with them. I don't even think these two dudes really even talk. 50 was like, I saw some interviews with Banks. Like, what interviews? Like, y'all dudes don't talk. So I'm sure Charlamagne and them asked them that just to ask them, it's G Unit, blah, blah, blah. I watched the whole interview. I watched the 50 Cent interview. I watched it yesterday. And I'm sure they were just talking about just throwing it out there because people still living in the past, they want to know about G Unit. But it wouldn't even make any sense. I don't even think he could carry that if he tried. You know what? The only way this is, if they did complete an album, he would have to send the music to them. They wouldn't be in the studio together. So you would just be getting kind of like Black Star did their album, right? When one did all the vocals in one place, shipped it off, the other one did his vocals somewhere else, right? The only way you could even record this album would be to do a verse in New York and then send it somewhere else, have them lay their stuff down, bring it back. That's the only way it would work. And I think if they put their differences aside, that would be the only way they could record this. Right? The only way they could record it. If they made it clear, like, we're not in the studio, but we're going to throw this together for the fans, people would gravitate and go and listen to that. They would listen to that. And it might put a spark back into all of their collective rap names. Because Banks dropped the album last year. Was it last year? I think it was this year. Banks dropped an album early this year, if I'm not mistaken. And it made a little noise for about a week. About a week. Buck is dropping stuff, if I'm not mistaken, all the time. But it's not making any noise in the rap. Rap has changed. There's so many people rapping now. The people that we used to revere 10, 12 years ago, they can't even make a dent in this stuff. There's so many people making music right now. It's so much going on that the people they don't even look up to these rappers anymore. Because everybody's rapping. Everybody can rap now. Your nephew could rap. Your cousin could rap. Your uncle. Everybody. Your newborn nephew coming out the womb rapping. So it ain't the same to just throw out a Lloyd Banks album or a Tony Ayo right now. So if they actually did that, even with the game, they'd be like, listen, we're going to send you some tracks. Put your vocals, send it back. That's all we need. Thank you. Don't diss us. Don't try to just write the verse, send it back. We're going to have contracts and we're going to send you your royalties. God knows they all need it. Every single one of them need the money. That's the only way it could work. If they say it up front, like, listen, it's long distance. We're doing it for the fans. Just hear me out. Just listen to it. 10, 12 tracks. Everybody ain't got to be on everything. Just do 10, 12 tracks. Get some hot producers on there. It could work. And 50 would be holding it. He would be carrying them on their back. But that's the only way I could see it working. And it might do collectively, like I said, it might put some battery in all their back again. But these guys got so much friction. I don't even know if they could even mail in. I don't even know if they could email tracks to each other without a problem. And then how many of them verses you're going to think is a sneak diss? All of them going to be sneak diss. Every single verse on there going to be sneak disses. They're going to be sneak dissing each other on the whole album. So I don't know why they asked him this question. Just to be, I mean, you need content, so you ask stuff. There was never a chance of a G Unit reunion in the first place. Right? It's just too much bad blood. If it happens, it probably won't be until these guys really get through some therapy. I don't see them being able to do this for a minimum of 5 years. When they really get tight or they really get free. Like they really get free in their mind and they all got something going on. Like this one owns a juice bar and a corner store. So they all making money and they don't really need the money. Then they might be more open to doing it. Right? Right now they pride in the way and this and that. And you know what I'm saying? They got a lot of issues to work out. But until then, this is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would a G Unit reunion work? Could it work? Would you listen to a G Unit reunion? I honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, I probably would listen to it. I would give it a spin, just to give it a spin, to see what they're saying. I would honestly listen to it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would you listen to a G Unit reunion? CLBMG.com, go check that out. Go get some of that merch. We got some dope hats, some dope shirts. Every week, every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, all my social media platforms, I go live with Clash the Podcast with Dante, Fliz, and TJ. It's crazy. We have a good time. Also, go to essentialvarieties.org. Check that out. See what you like over there. I'm going to catch you on the flip side. Peace.
CLB.